Hopefully you can see my screen. Yep, great, okay. Just very quickly, there's a couple of things I want to just highlight. First of all, the whole business of sentiment. This is on the array, this is on the 5-minute, the 10-minute, and the 15-minute. The yen is probably the easiest pair to show this on because it's the counter currency, but it just shows you visually, instantly, across all the time horizons, what is going on across the yen complex. It's massively simple. You know, it's just everyone's buying the yen right now. Why are they buying the yen? Fairly straightforward. That's what's happening on the VIX. The VIX is tracking up. It's not up. It's not roaring up, but it's certainly climbing. And in terms of the UK, this is the UK FTSE 100. That's what's going on there. So that's declining. If we go and look at the US indices, what are they doing on Globex? That's what they're doing. They're falling as well. This was the London Open. There we go, big spike in volume, off we go, and then we get the weakness coming in. Now we're trading lower or across pretty much all the time frames. But what I actually wanted to show you in addition to that is something just as important, which is about gaps. You'll see these in all time frames. This happens to be the YM, which is the Dow 30 derivative future, the emini. And you can see very much the strength of resistance over here in this dashed line. But what I actually wanted to show you was this, gaps. You get gaps in all markets, not so much in currencies, but you certainly get them in futures, cash markets and everything. The point about a gap is, and it's an old maxim of trading, which is gaps get filled. And it works on the same principle as volatility. You get volatility in the market, you get a fast moving market. It's why we develop the volatility indicator. The market moves very rapidly. And the instinct, your instinct reaction to that is to jump in. The fear of missing out. The market moves rapidly. There's a price move going on, higher or lower. You jump in, fear of missing out, and then you get trapped in the reversal or the congestion. And it's pretty much the same principle at work when you get these gaps. The market gaps up. Everyone thinks, oh, this is bullish. We've broken away. Blah blah blah. Now we're seeing that reversal squeeze come on. And I would urge you, whenever you see gaps, it's such a simple and powerful mechanism for the big operators, the market makers. It happens in all time frames. You saw it, in fact, on the 1 minute chart, I think it was for the UK FTSE 100. It snapped open, gapped up a few points, enough to suck a few traders in, think, oh, this is going to go higher, and bang, down it comes. It just happens all the time. And you can see it, in fact, going back to this chart on the daily, had exactly the reversal here. It gapped down. Everyone thought, oh, this is a short. You know, the market's going to short. We had the daily, and now we're going back up again. So, you know, please be aware when you get gaps, it should set the alarm bells ringing non-stop because they are just classic trap moves. It's another trap move in exactly the same way as volatility is a trap. So are gaps. They invariably get filled, and they're there for a reason because it's the market makers or the big operators, insiders, moving the market rapidly in one direction, hopping over a fence, if you will, leaving a gap and then reversing into that gap and trapping all those traders who got sucked in on the open to regret that decision at their leisure. Just to wrap up, the NQ, we're trading around the volume point of control, lots of resistance overhead, lots of volume, really building in a heavy volume in here now. And if this market is going to change sentiment, then it's got to do so on volume. We mentioned the weakness way back here. It still looks very fragile, very weak. And you know, that's the reason we're seeing all the yen buying I mentioned over here on the currency array. And also on the currency strength, as you can see here, this is on multiple time frames again. So we've got the 3, the 5, the 15, and out to the 60 minute. The yen is still being bought. Yes, there may be a kick over here. Yes, the Canadian is maybe reversing a little bit. But if you're in the Canadian from an hourly perspective or a very slower time frame perspective, you know, you're still short. You may be seeing this kick in, but you're still short over here because this is just noise to you as far as you're concerned on a much slower time frame. It has no relevance other than for scalping traders who'll be making money, maybe buying the reversal. That's it. Anna's given me a note about the US forex.
Yeah, we're gonna put another just for forex.
We are going to introduce a.
So many US
a third webinar because we have so many forex-based US clients. So we are going to introduce a webinar for that particular market in terms of forex only. Not sure what time that's going to be during the day. Haven't quite decided when's the best to do that. We used to have it around the US Open, but then you run into all the news releases which are coming up at 1:30 generally. So it tends to be a bit of a sluggish time. You've got crossover news and all sorts of things going on. So we're not quite sure which time we're going to do that, but that is in the pipeline. And you will get, if you're on the mailing list, which you all will be, we'll get that out on a email to you all over the next few days.
And the other one's going to be stocks.
We're also going to do one on stocks and futures as well. Where am I going? Here. There we are. Sorry, I couldn't find the button. Just to wrap up, if this is the way you can find all the details on the indicators at quantumtrading.com. They're available for MT45, NinjaTrader 7 and 8, and also TradingView. We are working on TradeStation, 2 platforms coming, TradeStation 9.5, which is TradeStation Global, which is the relationship between Interactive and TradeStation. If you have an Interactive Brokers account, you can drive TradeStation through that. You can link the two together. It's a massively powerful platform because you can trade every market through TradeStation, and you've got the power of TradeStation charting and analysis and everything that brings. So it's a terrific relationship, and it allows traders access to spot forex through the Interactive Brokers mechanism feed. It's just brilliant. It's been a little bit complex, but we are getting there on that. And then you've got TradeStation Securities, which is TradeStation 10, which has all the bells and whistles as well, radar screen, which is just amazing. So we're working flat out on that. Those I think are done. We're just trying to tie up TradeStation Global on 1 or 2 bits and pieces there. Hopefully in the next sort of couple of months or so, we'll have it all up and running with all the support pages and get it launched. Oh, hold on, mate. Yeah, let me just, this is the education. This is where you find the complete Forex trading program at quantumtradingeducation.com. It is, in our humble opinion, the gold standard for education, and it includes all the indicators as well. It really is just a fantastic program. It's got everything there from psychology, fundamental, relational, technical, mechanics. There's over 200 hours, I think, of video content in there. You've got 13 PDF downloads. What we are going to do is put together a little video inside so we can actually walk you through it. And show you in a little bit more detail. So we will be working on that over the next couple of weeks or so. But it's all there, and you can either pay on the outright or you can pay on the easy payment plan as well. And if you're not familiar with Anna, that's where you find everything with regard to the books. They're all up on Amazon, annacooling.com, and you've got links there to all the platforms and the trading as well. I'm just going to pass back to Anna for a moment.
I mentioned right at the beginning about this story that I've come across when I'm talking about risk in this market, and some of you may have seen it already, but he's quite amusing actually. This is Dave Portnoy. He's a very, very, very wealthy gentleman, but in sport, he's been in sports betting, and obviously sports betting is all stopped because of coronavirus and micro. So he decided to have a go at day trading. Great. So he then deposited 3 million into an E-Trade account, as you see here. He's managed to lose $670,000. He says, I have become a full-time day trader for the duration of the quarantine. And to be very clear, I have zero clue what I'm doing. And I felt like saying to him, because I actually follow him on Twitter. I think he follows me on Twitter as well. And I was going to say to him, don't worry, Dave, I can assure you there are people who are supposed to know what they're doing, and they still manage to lose that amount of money. But it's if you've got a chance to pick him up on Twitter, he is very, very amusing. I feel like saying to him, you know what, Dave, just read my book, and you know what, I think you'll be doing a lot better than losing $647,000. But the moral of the story is this: he said he's managed to recoup 93,000. Well done. Please don't use money that you cannot afford to lose. And he does say that. To be fair to him, he said he's 647,000. and he's worth 450 million or something. It's playing around money. And to make a serious point, when you start, we all start at different points. He can afford to lose that. So when you are going to trade, you must accept that the money you start with, and it should be as small as you can afford to lose, that is what you've got to be guided by. But I still think, I think if you bought my book, I think he'd be slightly, he wouldn't have lost $647. He might have actually made some money. Maybe I shall send him a tweet and say, how about buying this book, Dave? Might help you. Anyway, that's to end the session. Is that it, David? That's fine. So we are back on tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow or Thursday? Yes. Yes, we are going to change the structure of these sessions slightly. So if you're on the list, which you are on the list, you will get an email about it. So thank you so much for coming along today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something that you didn't know before, and we will see you the next time. Take care.